All right, let's get back to this. Oof, I do not sound great. Hey guys, so we are once again deep in the throes of the Charlotte project. Charlotte being my 8-legged robot. Last week we did a bunch of modeling work with both the leg linkage design and the motor characteristics. And through the modeling and optimization, I came up with some supposedly good values for some of Charlotte's design parameters. That led us into designing some preliminary systems for Charlotte. We left off last week with a single manufactured leg. Now I have ordered 10 of these legs from the sponsor of this video, PCBWay. They've been able to make them for me in a super flexible material, so I'm excited to show you guys that, but they just haven't been delivered yet. Right now I'm back to using my Ninja Flex material, which is super flexible, and we're going to talk today about some of the design updates that have taken place with Charlotte, how we are going to be able to shrink her design from this somewhat bulky design closer to the size of a real spider, which is the ultimate intention of this project, to create a super small robot that is undetectable because it just looks like a regular animal. Now behind me, we've already started printing some of Charlotte's new design, so I want to take a quick minute to talk about some of the other things that are going on. I originally wanted this video to be a study of a single leg's kinematics and dynamics, and we would be able to measure things like motor current, so we could build an understanding of how accurate the models we created last time actually are. But given that, first of all, the legs that I've ordered haven't arrived yet, and I have the fast approaching goal of making Charlotte available for purchase online through my website, dragline.tech, as a locomotion platform only that's just legs and motors. So I just decided to power through the CAD and get to a fully finished robot by the end of this video. That works out because I've had a bit of a cold for the past few days, so I haven't really been able to put as much time or energy into the video as I'd like. So I've just hunkered down, focused on the engineering, and it's been kind of nice. Also worried about other things as well, like updating the website. If you've been following me, you know I've been doing consultations and tutoring on my website as well if you need any engineering help, and I'm changing up the way that I do that, so keep an eye out for those updates. And I've also been trying to lock down health insurance as well, because this is now my full-time job, so don't expect any daring stunts in this video, though I have been doing them still. So I thought I'd just take a minute and we can look through the CAD design and some of the interesting things that have come up and some of the interesting problems that I've had to solve while designing this new version of Charlotte. So I'll start out with Charlotte's legs. So last time we basically designed the geometry of this linkage. When it comes to actually building this flexure linkage, there are other things we have to consider. One of the main things is how will we combine rigid and flexible materials to create this linkage. The previous version of Charlotte focused on this single part approach where soft TPU and rigid TPU come together in a single part to create a multi-material flexure with varying stiffnesses. This time I'm trying something different. It may or may not work, but this allows me to have a little bit more control over the manufacturing process, so I might be more comfortable with this. My approach this week essentially deals with having slots in the flexible material for rigid inserts, which eventually I'll probably glue into it. And then this entire leg becomes a single part, but it does require some adhesive, which I'm usually not the biggest fan of. Now, one of the requirements which I defined and introduced last time, but didn't really have anything to do with the modeling subject matter, is the idea of serviceability. Now, I want to be able to have these legs, this part that I can glue together with multiple components, be easily swappable, and you can purchase more of these legs for cheap. In case one of them gets damaged, you just yank it off of Charlotte and pop it right back in. And I want this to be able to be done in less than 10. That was the requirement that I set. And I put a lot of thought into how to attach these legs at their hip socket in such a way that they are snug and there's not a lot of backlash in the mechanism, but they can also be easily popped off and placed back on. Eventually, taking a lot of considerations into account, I settled on these snap peg designs that you see in a lot of 3D printable parts. I'm still not super sure if that's going to be the actual way to do it. There are some downsides like friction, but we'll see. It seems like friction already is kind of a component that we didn't take into account into the models that does seem like it's going to affect the ultimate performance of Charlotte. So we'll have to see when we put her all together. But overall, these snap peg designs seem to be exactly what I want in terms of serviceability. So we'll see if we can, add enough lubrication such that the friction component doesn't matter. I'm definitely going to take some time to tweak the clearances between the parts and see if we can minimize friction that way. Now, there are a lot of gears in Charlotte because each side of her, all 4 legs on one side, are driven by a single motor. So you need gears to transfer that power to shafts that are next to each other, but then legs that are next to each other actually need to spin the same direction, clockwise to clockwise, for instance. So you need another gear in between those legs to make sure that they don't spin opposite directions. So each side of Charlotte has 6 gears and then another gear for input, so 7 gears. I've done a couple of tricks to make sure that the limits to how close these legs can be to each other can be stretched a little bit. Last week, we based that minimum distance on the stride that each leg completes. But if you look at videos of spiders, you'll see that all of their legs are really close to each other, but that doesn't cause them any problems because they have the kinematic knowledge in order to place their feet in a way that don't interfere with each other. Obviously, Charlotte is not capable of that kinematic knowledge because all of her kinematic intelligence per se is in that mechanism. So it can't be tuned. There's a set trajectory of her feet. But I realized that what I could do is if I offset those legs a little bit so they're not placed all on the same wall, you can actually get them to be pushed a little bit closer together and their trajectories don't interfere, but you still get more legs in a smaller space. So that allowed us to shrink the size of Charlotte even more. Now that I coupled with the trick that I did with Charlotte previously, which was to change the angle of her legs a little bit. Now, that might seem like an inefficiency, but you have to remember Charlotte also has to turn. So that kind of rounding of her shape is more beneficial for the turning action. This time, things are a little bit simpler because I have only 2 angles to contend with instead of 4. So that just means that we have one wall like this, another wall like this, and then the input in the middle. Now, because we have these flat walls, these gears can't be bevel gears. They have to be standard spur gear shape. But the input gear has to contend with driving both gears that are adjacent to it. That presents a little bit of a challenge in the design space because with CAD software, we have to create a new type of shape that is very specific to this configuration of gears. I've used a technique that I've seen before, like swiping through Instagram Reels, where you sort of rotate these gears incrementally as they're supposed to rotate with respect to each other. And at each increment, you cut out material based on the gears whose geometry is known. Pretty clever trick. And you end up with kind of a rough geometry with a lot of edges, but once the 3D printed part is made, it'll smooth it out and I think it'll work just fine. But that's pretty cool. It gave us this really cool new unique gear shape that's entirely unique to the construction of Charlotte. Another thing I wanted to do is limit the number of fasteners that are used in Charlotte's construction. That is like metal screws and that sort of thing. I use a lot of these typically when I'm prototyping just because it's easier than designing other types of interfaces for 3D printed parts. But since Charlotte is getting closer to a production stage, I definitely want to limit that number of fasteners, both for cost reasons and for usability reasons, like serviceability. Attaching these legs with these snap pins definitely helps a lot with that. So I also decided to use the same snap pin design to attach the gearbox frame to the inner wall. So I'm just now getting some of Charlotte's more crucial components completed. You can see here I have a full gearbox assembled and one leg attached. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing. First of all, we can see indeed she is much smaller than she was before, and that's really exciting in and of itself. You can see my phone case here for my iPhone 12. She's even smaller than that, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to kind of hold her in the palm of my hand. That'll be really exciting. But I want to point out also how fast she's going to be now with this new motor. It's definitely much faster than the old version of Charlotte. You can see that mechanism in action there. I am loving it. Yeah, so I'm interested to see, once this is all together, if she can walk. I'm a little bit apprehensive, but cautiously optimistic. Now that Charlotte is ready to be assembled with all of her parts manufactured, we can finally talk about this video sponsor, PCBWay, who is going to provide us with the means to give Charlotte her brains. This is my custom microcontroller unit, which PCBWay manufactured for me. It is a surface mount PCB that contains a microcontroller, it contains a motor driver, and it contains a voltage regulator, all on this single board. Now, you might have seen me use this in my spray slit project. That is one of the other big projects that I'm working on as part of my company. But what I haven't shown you is that this board is also perfectly capable of driving Charlotte, because it has a dual H bridge, and Charlotte has two motors. That makes the testing phase of all of this new hardware so much easier. When before I was using PCBWay services, I would have had to hook up an H-bridge to a Arduino and connect all these wires together, make sure everything was wired perfectly. But now I just have this single board that I can just plug and play, and it works fantastic. So if you're looking at some of the electronics you're making in your workshop or in your garage or wherever, and you're like, this is just too difficult, anything could break at a moment's notice, I'm gonna need something more streamlined so I don't waste my time on minute details, I would definitely recommend PCBWay services for PCB manufacturing. They also have services for machining, which I've used to construct the spray slits pressure vessel, and I am hopefully soon going to get Charlotte's new legs that they will be 3D printing for me. So make sure you click the link in the description below for $5 off their amazing manufacturing services. And big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video and for letting us get Charlotte's new body walking faster than ever before. All right, so we have all of the manufacturing complete. Here we have that consumable leg I was talking about, and as you can see, it's super easy to just snap this into place onto Charlotte. Now, I don't have Charlotte's bottom cover on right now, but that doesn't really matter for testing purposes. Already created some code that will just cycle through some of Charlotte's actions, like going forward, backwards, turning, that sort of thing. We're just gonna plug in the battery and see how she does. Okay, she's moving. Turning forward. Oof. That battery has some weight to it, that's for sure. You can see she does a little bit better if I hold the battery. Okay, so let's take a look here. So she is mobile. I think I'm still suffering from the problem of these legs being a little bit too flexible. I tried to match their design with the designs that I saw in that flexure paper I talked about last week, sort of an elliptical cross section, but it seems like they are a bit more flexible than I anticipated in unwanted directions. This is a problem I've solved before, so it shouldn't be too bad to solve. I mean, she is walking. It's not like her body is dragging on the ground like it was back then, but I'm not really comfortable with the level of flexing that the side, especially the side that the battery is on. And if I put the battery in, then she basically has, she's struggling. Oh yeah, I'm installed out there. So I do think it will improve if I get the flexibility of the legs to be a little bit more well-tuned. But other than that, this is pretty good for a first prototype of Charlotte's new design. Definitely much smaller than the older version. I'm not entirely certain this battery is charged either. So I think that's going to be enough for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the process for Charlotte's new design. Next time we will do something, but I don't know exactly what yet, but it's always going to be something cool. You guys know it. And hopefully very soon, Charlotte will be available for all of you guys to purchase her motors and mechanisms as a locomotion platform. And getting real excited for that, that's for sure. So I guess that's it. Stay safe, stay amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.